Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a union read for you today for March 4th. Today is 2019. A lot of stuff in the read today was coming up around Easter and the March 4th into 2019. Okay, so this is a lot of stuff is coming around the betrayal and the crucifixion, as well as the Ides of March. So I'm going to get right into it because there's some important information coming up here, not only about that, but in regards to Russia and China and Morocco coming up. So you might want to pay attention. Again, it is March 4th, 2019. The 4 is the energy of the Emperor, and the day adds up to 19, which is the Sun. So it's very masculine energy coming up here about control and power, really. So how fitting that these, world powers are coming up in the discussion today. I woke up very sleepy this morning, but I got a good night's sleep, and I hadn't in the past few nights from the energies coming in, so that was nice. And also red roses were coming up today. And then at 1:11 today, because I did go to the grocery store today, when I got back, I did the read, and at 1:11 I was getting "Come Fly With Me Again," Frank Sinatra singing that. And when I went into my inner child today, I could barely see my mini me, right, my little inner child, and it was like they were in the shadows being pulled away, both of them. All right, so I literally was getting in the shadows and being pulled away from behind into the abyss. So it's like letting go of the inner child, because now your inner child is growing up. And then I did the spread, and then I got at 1:21 March 4th, like to March 4th through 2019. Persist, keep going. And then I was getting, as I put the Emperor down, and then today is the Emperor, and we got the Emperor in the recent past position, I was getting him burning his hand, because in the Sirian Starseed deck, the Emperor has a false hand that's on fire. He's kind of putting it down. But it's not the message I usually get from that card. I was getting that he's burning his hand. And then right after that, that was 126, and 26 is the Page of Wands. At 127, I was getting a big gust of wind right after that was said. And then in shuffling, just in general, I was getting a messy, fragile situation, and the cards wouldn't stay still. So somebody might be agitated or with anxiety. They made me nervous. Nervous energy. It was done at 1:33 today, and 33 was significant. The 7 of Wands did come up within the read in the clarifiers, and that's all about standing up for yourself, standing up to others, and standing your ground, but not being reactive or defensive. Okay, the major arcana for the Sirian Starseed deck, which is the main read, is Justice, Reason, Reflection, and the card after the read was Solar Deity, which is the Sun. Reflection is the Hermit, Reason is the Emperor, and then Justice in this deck is actually called Divine Justice. There were 4 cups in the read today, 1 pentacle, 2 wands, and 1 sword. The court cards were the Page of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the King of Wands. And there's very strong energies around the Page of Cups today about being that pure, innocent love, just being that wide open heart, and that this is your destiny as a twin. And the Queen of Cups being that loving, nurturing, intuitive one, and then the Knight of Wands is not the King, but the Knight of Wands is that passionate movement forward, kind of the trigger for the feminine in the masculine. The numbers and the coding that came up in the message today were all around parenting and self-discipline, but I was getting more, it's about, it's not about putting more into parenting, but being more self-disciplined about making sure that you have time for yourself, putting yourself first. That was the energy I was getting, but also about the pure energy of love. So taking in that pure love that your children are giving you and not ignoring them or not giving them the time that they want because they just want to offer their love, to make sure you appreciate that love as well. But the message and numbers were all about 6, 2, and 8 came up, and the numbers came up in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 by 2s. At 2 by 2, we're marching through March 4th, 2 by 2, through 2019. And also 44 came up, which of course is the number of mastering. It's also the Four of Cups, which is grounding and integrating, and it is the number of Atlas, the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Mastering all of your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, everything. Okay, your reactions, your non-reactions, right? And the message was, and it was interesting because 3 like ones came up, or 3 eyes, I, like showing you the Trinity. We're each about ourselves first, and that's how we connect to everything else. But also the message of the love and the high vibration, that there is a divide in 2 regarding I, in order to rear the Page of Cups, or that unconditional love energy, the innocence of love. Also, love comes up, and Sophia 9, which is the collective consciousness of the feminines. Divine, so the love of the divine 2, the twin flames, rear a pure child of love. So some of you actually may have children who are now pushing you together because there needs to be a child born. So that's definitely come up in the read as well. The other numbers that came up were, besides 6, 2, and 8, was 62, 26, which is that Page of Wands, and then 62 being a reflection of that, which is anxiety. Okay, so that's showing you the opposite of the Page of Wands, inspired, is anxiety. And then 44, that mastering energy, and 41, 21 as well, as the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then I put in, just for some quick codes, and the first heading said, welcome to Money Machine Store, which obviously when you come in the union, that's kind of like what you are as twins. Also Rhode Island was coming up again, as well as Grace Yoga School. That was 35 Weaver Road in North Kingstown, okay, Kingstown, Rhode Island. And it was posted as 2019, but I love that it was just 7-Eleven, that Kingstown came up, like this is your town for kings, for mastering. Also 250 came up, and that was a number that came up yesterday, 25 and 250. The years 1626 to 1876, and that's 76 is the 8 of Cups, which is going within or walking away. It's also 76 trombones. And oh, I was just getting about bones. What is that? There's a show. I don't know if it's called Bones something. Maybe it'll come up in a minute. But anyway, the towns that were coming up in Rhode Island were significant. Charleston, because Charlestown was coming up, because I was just talking about Charleston, South Carolina, as well as Richmond, and my grandfather's from Richmond, Virginia, and then Hopkinton came up. And so maybe that's referencing Hopkins. So there's some message there, as well as the numbers 14 came up in the messages, 100. And I was just getting cente, or cent in French, okay, and then another number, 177, 1846 came up, which is like 1 of the Magician, 77 is the 9 of Pentacles, the Sovereign, 18 is the Moon, we have the new Moon coming up, and then 46 is the inner children, it's the 6 of Cups. Also the Encyclopedia of Tantra came up, volumes 1 to 5, the PDF of that, and that was from edoc.site. / Encyclopedia of Tantra, whatever it is. And then a whole bunch of stuff about that came up. You can go into that if you want to read about that. But then the next heading was, what do Druids believe? So I went into this article from 2006. It was from epdf.tips. And it was this article about how the Druids started and the different milestones and things like that. And what caught my eye in it when I opened it was I saw 1010, and you know how 1010 comes up in my numbers all the time, and I always say it's that high vibration. Well, in this article, the 1010, and it took me a while to figure out what the 1010 was, because you know how the type gets messed up sometimes online, and the words are all spaced apart, and then there's some words that aren't words, they're in codes, because it got messed up somehow. So I was trying to get through to understand some of it. And also 1111 came up in the article as well. just talking about the Druids in the different countries, and that, you know, their relationship as a part of the pagan community, and also being paralleled with Wiccan and New Age, but what was the difference? And actually a lot of pagans are Druids, but they may not identify that way. And also 1969, John Lennon came up in regards to his song Mind Games, and then of course Peace on Earth. Stonehenge came up, flower power and Eastern religions in the 60s. And then Edward Williams, a stonemason and poet, 1747 to 1826. He made his name in Druidry or Druidism as Lolo, L-O-L-O, but when it gets rewritten all throughout the article, it comes out as 1010. So they call him 1010. Lolo Morgan W.G., M-O-R-G-A-N W-G is what he ends up being called, Lolo Morgan W.G. So I don't know if W.G. is extra or not, but it was Edward Williams. So he was all about Unitarianism in Wales, and it says 1010 set out to develop a Druid body of work, okay, and being authentic. He was considered a genius, but also a literary fraudster. So it's very interesting, but he's still admired, despite all that. So if you want to go into that, I gave you the information for that website. So we get into the read. Divine justice and co-creating spirituality, thinking outside the box, and being non-traditional. Highlighting love of the divine two, the twins, the high priestess, which is just the psychic abilities of the twins, was coming up, young, new face, because the RI was coming up for Rhode Island also means, in all the different countries and languages, young and new. And here we have the Page of Cups, which is, in this deck, this is the Page of Cups in the challenge position, right? Cracking your heart open wide, but this is innocent, pure love from a child. Also that offer of pure, innocent love. So it's coming up as being defined as young and new. It also means making you laugh, but also can mean taking a ride. Also woman and face it means, but also means opposites, because it means with, and it also can mean against. So it's like merging the two polarities, okay, and keeping it young and youthful. RI is also an assessment tool of the impact of addiction on 7 different areas of living, if you want to look that up. But again, it was all about the young and the new, and to laugh. But just remember, there's always thorns involved when you have roses, right? And fish bones in the fish. That's funny. So that was coming up maybe with the bones. It's paralleling back to that for me, so there was a message there. Also, so RI is, you know, the Page of Cups is the seeker of love. It's the seeker of chalices in this deck. Allowing the swords to fall out of your back. Love of balance is now coming out, or coming back in style maybe. Lovers are out in the open. The Divine Masculine is deep in thought, using his DNA to manifest and disappear magically amidst the red roses with thorns while staying at 0 point. Emotional happiness, rainbow bridge, awakening to how he lives. Feels like his head's in a vacuum, which was funny because I could definitely relate to that feeling, you know, when we go through these ascension symptoms. Sometimes it feels like your head's being pulled up like that. So literally, stretching arms back and behind, tied. Maybe his arms are tied right now. And left leg bent off to the side to stretch, pulling up your toes. What it means to be a happy family in the countryside or with clean land and water. Manipulating DNA to grow more hair on a man's head. So some of the masculines may be thinking of this as an idea. 4 different tools on the table, floating on air under protection of love and family. Tools of the trade, the family being the tools of your trade. Letting go of savings to align with the new moon. 4-legged creature that who can't leave too soon. There may be a dog that's weak, too weak to travel, needing urgent care. And I told you a dog came up yesterday. It was a big dark gray dog with floppy ears, very friendly. But I was getting that, it was funny because one of the commenters said, it was her Divine Masculine's dog whose nose is into everything, but I was saying I was seeing a spot in the right nose, I believe it was. So it might have an infection inside their nose. If you're not sure what it is, that's what I was getting. But there's a dog here, weak, too weak to travel, needing urgent care, been sitting in uncomfortable feelings, and there's a Leo feeling bad for not having taken him sooner to get to a doctor or whatever. So this could be a literal dog, but could be someone, a Divine Masculine, who's being considered a dog, right, in the doghouse. So engagement comes up here, as well as attraction underneath that. And engagement just means your relationship's moving to a higher level, but also narcissist changing from more than one to only one, seeing swans fly by behind him, 2 by 2s, right? As justice prevails, splitting things equally, healthy thing to do, a kind judgment, 1 kid each until they learn to get along. So in couples who are splitting up, it may be talking about splitting assets equally, or even splitting up the kids equally, like you take one and the other one takes the other. They may not even be getting along, so that might actually be the best thing for the situation. And flame DNA for the right elbow from feeding the sick, enabling family to continue taking from the Divine Masculine. Woe is me, so he'll feel sorry for them and do all the work. So I'm definitely getting, the pity please here. And the Divine Feminine is then reflecting the Masculine as well. On pins and needles, feeling the flame and hearing and ringing bells to clear, which is funny because I actually have a bell that I tap on each night, and a lot of people use bowls, that kind of thing. That's coming up, as well as hot and cold, people feeling hot and cold as the energies are coming in. Steamed up mirror, frozen windshield is all coming up to clear. All you need to do is just wipe it away to see more clearly. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. That's what they're telling you. So while judges are schooling karmic couples in court, the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine get schooled by Cupid with a rose with thorns. That they've been given the fruit. They've been given clean water, and it's time to make pie. Come to the common water line to drink together. Just like, I'm seeing like in the West when they had the common drinking spots. To come to the water line to drink together, to 0 point. Integration of your inner masculine and feminine. Cutting the pie down the middle. Fair, balanced, even, and sweet. Drink from the same bowl. Expose the same feet. 2 red apples stand out in the basket of all of the other fruit that looks different. You know who you are, and you know who your true partner is. Heads above tails, right before wrong. You need them all to play the songs. You have the tools, now use them to get along. Some of you have a sun waiting, tugging on you to bring you together. Now karmic situations are settled. The cards that came up here were self-love, and below that was music. Self-love is 61, which is taking a risk to love yourself first. And the music is 32 of the journey, the 6 of Wands. Write songs about your journey. Break the old patterns, finding peace, sneaking away at night in the cold. Buckwheat, full moon. And then I was getting, well, there's no buckwheat, full moon, but what are they and what are they trying to tell me? It had to do with the farmers and the fall. So I look up buckwheat and moon, and number 1 I get buckwheat moonshine. Okay, so someone might be making their own moonshine. But then I also saw SF gate. That could be San Francisco. I was just getting, because I didn't even realize I need to figure out what the SF was. I was just getting there's a gate in San Francisco. Maybe they're talking about the Golden Gate Bridge. Ah, the Golden Gate Bridge. It's referencing the 4D bridge, right? And at the end of the bridge is the pot of gold, the Golden Gate. Also, I was getting buckwheat crescent moon meditation cushions. So there's like meditation cushions online made with buckwheat. So they have different shapes of them. And that was from some of the different sites I was coming up. Buckwheat is a very large source of protein and inexpensive as well. Easy to grow. It's like soba. I was getting one of the sites was sunandmoonoriginals.com. Some of them have handles and zippers so you can take them with you for meditation, that kind of thing. Also, the other one was the Zafu cushion, Z-A-F-U, and that was from samadhicushions.com, S-A-M-A-D-H-I cushions.com. So then I was coming back to the moons, and the full buck moon, right, because I got buckwheat, is July. And that's because of the new antlers pushing out of their foreheads and their coatings of velvety fur, which came up with the roses today. Because when I was at the grocery store, I bought some red roses, which I normally wouldn't, but they looked so velvety. They were so beautiful. Also is called the thunder moon. So the July moon is not only the buck moon, but also the thunder moon, and called the full hay moon. And I'm just getting hay, but hay, and hay is like wheat or buckwheat, right? So then I was getting the August sturgeon moon, having to do with fish, and we got fish and bones came up here, is also called the red moon, or the green corn, or the grain moon, and I was seeing buckwheat, which is a grain. So I'm like, all right, Spirit, what are you guiding me to? You're guiding me to July or to August? And then I come back to buckwheat, because buckwheat is also the character, right, from Spanky and the gang. And what I was getting from buckwheat is that he was so funny and natural little boy, right? And funny. But just, it was like showing you the Page of Cups, his open heart, and his hair is all wild, but he's beautiful just as he is, and Spirit's connecting with me. So then I was led back to March, because here we are in March. March is the full worm moon. It's also called the crow moon, the crust moon, the sap moon for the maple trees, and also the Lenten moon. All right? And then I'm like, Lenten, because I wasn't raised religiously, so all of this stuff may be normal for you, but it's not for me. And I'm like, I know Lent, but I don't think of Lenten as Lent, because I wasn't raised religiously. But I know that there's something I was just looking at that had Lenten on it, or some word that was like that, and I kept looking at it, trying to figure out what it was. And then I look over, and there was a little calendar I got in the mail. It was a Jesus calendar with a little quote every day, and I don't usually keep them, but I kept this one. So here it was, Lenten, right in front of me. It was just 2222. Okay, so Spirit confirming about Lenten, and so listen up about Lenten here. Now Lenten, is Lent. It's the great fast. It's the great 40 days. But it also means spring. So when we think about Lent, people think about giving up something, about sacrifice. And I was being guided to tell you guys, it's not. It's spring. It's about abundance. And the Page of Cups. It's showing you we're in spring. Spring is the Page of Cups with that beautiful, innocent, open heart. It's not about sacrifice at all. It's about opening your heart to something new and loving yourself more. So day 1 in the calendar starts with Ash Wednesday, which is the new moon, March 6th. And in the book, and I'm just going to tell you the first one, was Matthew 6, 1 through 6, and 16 to 18. That I'm just paraphrasing the idea, but doing the right thing when no one is looking. Being charitable when no one knows. So when you give to charity, you shouldn't need to have everyone know about it, because that's not the point, right? And it's funny because I just done that. Like my daughter's friend was for her birthday, she wanted people to donate to this charity, and I thought that was beautiful. She's a young girl. She's 22 years old, and she's telling people to, as a birthday gift, to give something to charity as opposed to getting her a present, which was really cool. So of course I helped her on that, and they ask, it's public, and then there's different ways of showing yourself. I'm like, I don't want anyone to know. I just want to give them the money. But that's the point. It's like, if you're, are you doing it for the right reasons? And if you're not, then don't do it. So then it was 3:33, Lent prep for Easter. And then I asked myself, well, why is it not to do our best for ourselves every day? Why is there just a certain time of the year that we need to do this? So Ash Wednesday is 40 weekdays to Easter, right? So the third day after the crucifixion or the resurrection. That spring is not sacrifice, it is abundance. It's 40 days of love, the Page of Cups. And then right that moment, 2 cars raced together south, going really fast, and it was just 24:42. which is the karmic energy of the, going south. The karmic breakup just happened. So 24 is the Queen of Wands, and then 42 is the Two of Cups, and it was two cars going south. And then right after that, another car came slower, like the third one behind, just to see what was going on. So that was very interesting. So what this is marking, the Lenten moon is marking the end of winter, the dark night. Winter is the dark night. And then spring with the third day of resurrection. March to April is the Garden of Gethsemane, the space between the words and Spirit's connecting with me. So they were guiding me back to one of my songs, my song Twin Flames. I had originally written it with a section of the Garden of Gethsemane, but I couldn't publish it that way because it wasn't my song. Garden of Gethsemane was from Jesus Christ Superstar, right? So I had this nice intro, which I left, but then it goes right into my song Twin Flames, when there was really the Garden of Gethsemane was in between, the space in between was literally the Garden of Gethsemane, and here it is coming back, and this is why Spirit's showing me that. So it's saying that the winter is the dark night, to come out into the spring for the third day of resurrection, that from March until April is the Garden of Gethsemane, which was the betrayal. So I'm going to get into that in a minute too. So some really juicy information came up here. So then I turn the page, it's 338, which is the Queen of Cups. There we go, with the cars racing down and the breakup of the karmic. It's a new page. The Queen of Cups is the Divine Feminine, and the three of the Empress in her abundance. The end of the winter marks justice begins, when all betray him and Mary Magdalene. Right? So now we're talking Jesus and Mary Magdalene in the Garden of Gethsemane. The Queen of Wands reversed is overindulging and partying and alcohol, antisocial behavior and gossip. The karmic of the Divine Masculine becomes Judas, which means judgment, literally, and betrays him for 30 pieces of silver. In the divorce, they take the money over the love. March 20th was coming up here as the full moon, right, to release your burdens. The full moon on March 20th is at 9:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's in Libra, full moon. As she prepares for justice, the karmic, in his crucifixion, which will happen on the April full moon, April 18th, 2019, which is basically the time of the crucifixion before Easter on April 21st. Okay, you like how that lines up? And 4/18/2019 adds up to 34, which is the Eight of Wands, which is that heated exchange. Okay. So then March of Ides came up, which in March is the 15th, and 15th of March is the New Year's festival. Was the New Year's festival in Rome? Caesar's death by Brutus, right? Best friend's betrayal. Was he his adopted son or was he his real son? There's talk of that he was his real son. But now the name Brutus is synonymous with traitor. Now this was in 44 BC, the Ides of March, when Caesar was assassinated. 44 BC. Okay. So here we have our mastering number, and our grounding and integrating number, and our atlas number, the weight of the world upon your shoulders. When he was assassinated at a Roman Senate meeting. And Ides is the Latin word to divide, the Ides of March, because it was like mid-month, because they used to do their calendars different than us. It was by markers, you know, the first of the month, middle of the month, the end of the month. So the Ides meant the middle of the month, but it literally means in Latin to divide. So the Ides of March. March is the 3 steps to take to get to April's rebalancing act. So I was getting this, you know, this is all about a performance, right? All the world is a stage. Where April, or March is the 3 steps to take, March is 3, and then April is the rebalancing act. 4, which is union, right? It's also about the emperor and control, and Caesar's death, March 15th. So then came up for me, and this is all coming from the cards. It's not me bringing it up from before, it's bringing it up again. Morocco, Moroccans, the Russians, and the Chinese were coming up again. And Moroccans is Barbary Coast was coming up as barbarian. And I'm not saying that all Moroccans are barbarians, but this was the parallel that they were bringing up here. And then the Russians were coming up as the Reds. And then the Chinese were coming up as like throwing stars, okay? But that descent was coming up. And descent, right, their downfall, before a new beginning. Divide and conquer before a chance of a new life. So I was getting some dates here, paralleling not only Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Easter, but also the death of Caesar at the Ides of March. So 315 is Ides, which is the divide, when the evil ruler is killed by his son, or somebody he's very close to. Then March 20th, as the full moon, is the conquer, divide and conquer. The conquer, the full moon, to release the burdens of the divide. And then we come up to April 18th, which is the crucifixion of Jesus. And then we come upon Easter on April 21st, 2019, which I was getting as a very important date, not only because of the resurrection, but for what we're going through now. Then I was guided to look up, I guess, Morocco and Russia and China online, and the first thing that comes up is a YouTube with the Moroccan king, French, and Puda, where they're shaking hands on March 15th, 2016. And then the other thing I saw was on March 30th, 2016. Okay, what is the likelihood the two things I opened were from 2016 in March, where we are now, paralleling. The March 30th was Morocco trying to attract more Russians and Chinese into their country. All right, so there's some kind of, them trying to come together here. And then I was getting the parallel of justice, war, and awakening prior to new life contentment, engagement of twins, and self-love. That April 21st, 2019 is the grand awakening. And I got a major connect when I wrote that down. It's a very important day. But what I'm getting is that between all these dates is that there'll be the betrayals, not only the betrayal of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane and then being hung, but also the downfall of Caesar and Brutus, and that Brutus was actually doing it so that Caesar wouldn't kill all the people, that kind of thing. But these dates are paralleling that for our journey, where there'll be leaders who may be plotting, right? So the three powers there, China and Russia and Morocco, which nobody may suspect that because they don't, it's not like Iraq or something like that, planning to come together for destruction, but then one or more of their leaders being taken down before they can have a chance to, okay? So there's something to this effect happening, like, the Caesar downfall, and then the conquering at the full moon after that to release the burdens of the dividing and conquering, and then coming up with the betrayal of Jesus and the crucifixion, and then the rise of Easter. So that was a lot. Okay, so recently in the read, the emperor extends low energy of deception and got burned. So this is paralleling back to where I said I saw the hand, that he burned his hand. So the emperor extends low energy of deception in the recent past and got burned by justice thwarting his plans for a new life. The foundation is the connection of new love he rejected. How now complete that he's come full circle in expressing feelings in a heated exchange. Lovers engage, which means you come together. Centrally, the energy here is the Ten of Crystals, the family legacy. The Queen of Swords talks about separation, and this is the Divine Feminine who's speaking her truth. Talks about separation and heartbreak and seeing a new perspective. Being present and aware that the King of Swords reversed doesn't feel worthy of love of the High Priestess, and that we know that. The Wounded Warrior, Queen of Swords, which is that Mary Magdalene energy, speaks of grounding and integrating and mastering self-love and psychic abilities for the ultimate family legacy and the cherry on top. All right, so the challenge being here, and as I turn the page, I'm 433. Okay, so we have another 33 here, which is the Christ vibration, but it's also that Seven of Wands of standing your ground, standing up for yourself without reacting. So the challenge being the Page of Cups, that innocence, pure love, plans to implement without option, but to purge all that is not for your highest good, for dreams to come true and for healing. An offer of a new life for your sunshine is now exposed. And now in the crown of the reed is the Queen of Cups, self-love, the divine feminine, spiritual love, being looked at by an emperor and a judge, or an Aries and a Libra, as an asset to their business. She's a hard worker with the light and keeps to herself, and she can tell the harsh truth and returns messages. Or she's good at talking with kids. Purging cycles, and so there may be someone around you who's admiring you and you don't know it. The purging cycles and instability, or move from the King of Cups as prisoner of kids and or twins. So it's these two people, like the Emperor and the Justice card. So the Emperor and the Judge, or it could be an Aries. Is it Justice? Yeah. Or an Aries and a Libra, which happen to be the opposites, right? So it could be this one person as well. But these two major men are assessing the situation on the Queen of Cups. And seeing between the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, the purging cycles and instability, or move, from the King of Cups as a prisoner of the kids and or twins seems to be over. So any purging cycles that were going on between the Queen and the King of Cups, they're seeing as being over. Any instability or purging cycles seem to be settling down now. Between the twins, or it could be karmics and their kids. Planning for a new life in the aftermath of the Queen of Wands getting her wish, possibly, and splitting up the twins, or pinning. She thinks that maybe she won because she pinned them against each other when she has no idea. It had nothing to do with her, really. So she thinks she did anyway. Or the death of a mother-son relationship, where the Queen of Wands is avoiding a disaster of separation from her child by allowing the Queen of Cups, so the divine feminine's wish for new love with the divine masculine, so that she won't lose her kids. Okay, so the Queen of Cups' wish of new love and co-creation, the death would be too much burden for her to bear. This is what was coming up here. So laying swords down to apologize, reunion with third party and hermit to hear the truth once and for all. The High Priestess has the keys and message for a new life with Angel, who's now hearing the call. Divine intervention, have patience, and that message was to all. Soon, looking up to the night sky to come together to be inspired by mastering, grounding, and integrating, and divine timing, they're telling you, is now. In the Ides of March, also the dates, the 26th was coming up, the 10th, 13th, and 23rd. Also baby showers were coming up here. So maybe something significant at a baby shower you go to. And it was interesting because my niece is having a baby shower in March. So the truth breaks through the crown of synchronicities and daydreams for the masculine, while choosing a path of a new life in the sun, exposed, not hiding. The child's heart offers full sun, the Page of Cups. So maybe somebody's expecting a son as well. Following guidance to get to the truth, and following your guidance to get to the truth is also coming up as your guilty pleasure, because you have fun doing it. The union is coming up as the Four of Flames. The union, how you're seeing yourselves, you're seeing union, Four of Flames. Getting attention and success and good news regarding family happiness, but it may have been a manipulation that looks can be deceiving when actually insecurities were present. But the masculine may be letting go of the battle of their wounds, you know, trying to resist, right? So although there's really a lot of positive energy on the union, but there's still some insecurities there that need to be cleared. But it's saying that they've given up the battle, you know, to protect their wounds, and realizing they're no longer their wounds and have to let them go, leave them behind. Safe to love, it is safe for you to love comes up for the union, as well as trust, which is all about having faith that you don't need to know because you already know. And then romantic feelings. Around the union, or how it is seen, is the hermit with the light, purging to death, or mourning a death, or end of a relationship. So whether you're just isolating or actually mourning, you may be purging or mourning or actual death, okay, which is just actually in disguise helping you to purge more, okay? Because it's showing us that there's a reason for you to be purging, and the last of the juice is out now, okay? admitting to not using, so some of the masculines may coming forward admitting not having used their intuition because ignorance is bliss. Not. Sneaky little shit was coming up, or unaware to half-truths told, the mirroring. Clear blocks of anxiety and hiding, emotionally detached, lacking faith, and ignoring love, and being insincere and jealous. These are all blocks that need to be cleared for both the masculine and feminine. And someone might be feeling jealous of the truth, that someone else is in their truth, and they want to be that as well. Self-discipline came up, parenting, but even more so was pride and surrender. So let go of your pride. Every time you say no, ask yourself, am I saying no because my pride's talking? Because usually it is. And surrender. Allow the universe to guide you. The Emperor has his back turned on obsessions for cutting cords, or maybe someone has an obsession for cutting hair and that's what he should be doing for a living, but he was always embarrassed. Or maybe, because maybe that's his love. Or a Knight of Wands flame has got his sexy on. His plans all laid out for him and for her, that would be the masculine and the feminine, to come together and work in love, called to action, inspired but feeling guilt and shame about truth of obsession for control. Okay, so a lot of the masculines may be coming up as, the control freak part of themselves. The Knight of Wands, busy with family legacy, before new passion must tell the truth of his real passions to his family. The Knight of Wands exposes all. News at 11. Clear on new life. Masculine being clear now on what he wants for his new life and standing up to others about special connection he has of love. No longer available, taking himself off the market, he's rushing in for affection that he's been depleted of, exposing all like a little kid, really excited to tell, to move forward and make an offer for true happiness and bliss. Justice for partners in union of Hermit and Emperor, or just isolation and control. Legacy of love, mastering anxiety issues of the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Wands, exposing justice and balance of the Emperor in connection to family, of Queen of Cups and child, home or union wish of being alone with anxiety, and the Knight of Wands, exposed or just energized and happy having fun together. Okay, so really beautiful energies there. And it's just 42-22 and 42-24, so that came up again as the end of the read, is the end of the karmic relationship. So the 24 of the Queen of Wands and the 42 is the partnership. It looks like that's completed. All right, so I'm going to pull you guys some cards. I hope you like that. I'm going to show you real quick the last two cards so you see what these three cards were together, because it was really nice. So we have the Sun and the Knight of Wands. All right, this is the three cards that were together at the end. Now there's more cards of these, but this was right next to this. All right, sorry. I say the Sun and the Knight of Wands, and then this is the Three of Pentacles from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, which is my favorite card in the deck, actually. So really beautiful energies. And this was the foundation of the read, okay, which is the Two of Cups. Okay. And Justice is there, and the Emperor going away. What's coming forward is the, oh, and I'm just getting to the Four. This card, the Four of Chalices. And we're getting fours. One, we got these two were above each other like this. This is the near future, and this, I'm sorry, this was the near future, and this was how the union sees itself. And I was being told not to see this as, the Four of Chalices often can be someone who's bored, or, they don't like what they got, what they're being offered. But in this card, it's like wishing on a star, but I was saying to not even take it that way. This is for you to look up at the sky, but just look up in general. Keep your chin up. This was the message here from this card. Okay, because you're not alone. You're not stranded on an island making a wish, because you already know your wish is granted. And it's 44-19, which is the Sun, and the 44, and it's 44-22, which is the Fool, taking a leap of faith, keeping the faith. But this, I wanted to show you this too, because that's the union cord, the Four of Wands. So you see, this was in the union space, how you see yourself. All right, so let's pull some cards for you guys. I don't know how much time I have left. I think I'm good. I'm taking two of my daughter's friends out to dinner, so I'm kind of excited about that. All right, so clear and align. Take a deep breath, you guys. This is the Ascension deck. Clear and align, and we're definitely going with Jesus and Mary Magdalene again, since this read definitely included what's going on for them. All right, so March 4th, 2019, for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned. What is it we need to know? What do we need to learn? From Jesus and Mary Magdalene, please. What is our guidance? The bottom of the deck is the Archangel Metatron's Retreat, number 28. Is there anything else? Okay. That's just for a number. The bottom of the deck is Archangel Metatron's Retreat, number 28, which is the twins. It's the Two of Wands, Two of Flames. Okay, the twin flames. The affirmation is, I'm visiting Metatron's retreat in my sleep tonight. So you might want to check in with Metatron. It was funny because when I talked to my son last night, he was asking about Metatron. And he's definitely representative of a divine masculine. The cards that came out for you guys are Pleiades, number 16, which is the Tower, which was very much coming up yesterday. And then Fires, number 13, which is the Death card, the End, which definitely came up today. Two other cards that came out, but I'm not going to read to you, I'll show you. The Intergalactic Council, which is 29, that's being present. Some decks it's waiting for your ship to come in, but for me it's about staying present in the moment, not looking for an outcome. And then also Animals came up too, which the dogs were coming up. So number 2, use your psychic abilities with the animals, help them out when you can. And I had the opportunity to actually help a neighbor who lost their dog. And even though it wasn't exactly what, everything I brought up was what they thought it was, what happened to their dog. But me confirming that their dog was still alive, she said she was very grateful to me for giving her that reassurance that the dog was still alive. And it was like the coldest week that we had of the winter with snow. Like there's no way if that dog was outside that they would have survived, because it was a little dog. And when the dog was returned, because it was a little Yorkie, the family that returned the dog, actually, I had told her that, I said, I can tell you that he's bored, and he feels like he's cheating on you, so he feels guilty. And when they returned him, they found out the family who had him had a Yorkie too. So so everything, all the details that came up for me, because I was getting water and a ladder, and everything was syncing with what she was thinking happened. I haven't gotten all the details back from her, what happened in the end with the family. I'd like to, but just so you know, even if it's something small like that, she was so grateful to know that someone else was feeling that the dog was still alive, so she didn't give up hope, because it had been a week, being out in the cold, and the dog didn't have a collar, so she didn't know if it would ever be returned. So we have Animals, Intergalactic Council, Pleiades, and Fire. And I got to count these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, perfect. So there's 15 cards extra, but there's 4 out already. So that's 19 is the number they wanted me to bring up. There's full exposure now. That's what they're confirming. The masculine energy is being fully exposed, but this is really positive energy as well. So I'll read you the Pleiades and Fire. Pleiades 16 says that the Pleiadians are great healers. They love Earth and all who live on her. By drawing this card, you're being invited to open your heart to Pleiadian healing. Let them enfold you in their loving, healing blue light so that their wisdom and gifts flow into you. When you've absorbed these qualities into your energy fields, pass them on to others. Remember that the animals who come from the Pleiades, the sheep, pandas, and pigs, heal people and the land, bless them, and honor their work on our planet. And I was just getting the parallel between what I did, counting the cards, counting sheep. They're saying especially the sheep. The affirmation is to open my heart to love and healing from the Pleiades. Fire says that fire transmutes the old and takes the new to a higher frequency. Archangel Gabriel supervises Thor, the elemental master of fire, and his salamanders. Your guidance is to ask them to transform the energy of conflict and spread peace, warmth, and nourishment to people everywhere. You can ask fire to help you eat the right food so that you have the perfect fuel for your ascension journey. It will also ignite your aura and keep your chakras 5th dimensional and glowing so that you can attract many others to you and lead with inspiration. The affirmation is, I invoke fire to light my way to the new golden age. to the new, the young and the new, the young and the not restless, because we got rid of anxiety. All right, so now we have the past life deck. Okay, past life deck. All right, let's see what we have here. Well, since they're all upside down and right side up, I'm going to shuffle them normally, see what comes up for you guys. Because usually I do them all right side up, but some new information is coming through with them reversed, so let's see what happens today. Take another deep breath. Okay. So again, posed to Jesus and Mary Magdalene, this March 4th, 2019, for everyone watching and the best and highest good of all who is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? So the male, female is at the bottom. Again, aligning your spine energies in order to integrate your energies before talking is coming up, because you may not be talking right now. Mother is below that. So it could be karmic energies too, of the masculine and the karmics not talking, or vice versa, the divine feminine and her karmic. The mother of the children, they're not talking. And then unicorn energy is coming in there as being wise too. So this is the mother card that was coming up behind it, okay? And then the unicorn, which I always love this card. It's so pure and white, pure love. All right, so the first two cards came up. A knighthood and biblical came up reversed. All right, so let go of your armor, let go of working hard. Those are old, dated, outdated ideas. This is what they look like upright, so you know. Because this is very much of like Jesus, carpenter, right? And then the knights of the round table. To let go of those ideas that you need to have armor, lots of armor on. That the truth is dangerous. And that work should be hard. And it's a very simple message. That's what they want me to say. Okay. The next two that came out for you guys were Native American and karmic relationships. So it's definitely confirming the karmic relationships are over, which we just confirmed twice in this read. And space shuttle. And I'm getting ground control to Major Tom again. But it's a Native American card. So it's relating shamanism to the space shuttle. You might want to go camping with a tent that looks like a space shuttle. But it's also a filter and a pyramid. Ah, look. It's got grain sticking out of the top. We were talking about buckwheat and grains for the moons. So that was July and August, right? So plant your seeds now for the harvest. You might want to filter, or you might want to put down something on the ground to filter around it. Or to grow your own buckwheat, because they were saying that it was really economical and easy to grow, and it's a great source of protein. And then you won't get, if you're growing your own, you won't have all of the pesticides and stuff on it. That is what usually makes your body resistant to it. It'll be pure. And it's showing the purity of that with the, with the tent. It looks like a space shuttle. I'm also getting it with it's got a bent wing. Someone's got a bent wing, and I know that this is a specific message for someone because I had the same thing when I went out today. My windshield wiper bent because of all the ice and snow that was on the windshield when I started the car, but it wasn't really bent. It was just bent behind the metal. All I had to do is take it out and it flipped back into shape. So it's a message for someone that it's not that serious, that you just have to bend it back into shape and it'll be okay. So someone might have a broken wing. I'm getting, is that the Beatles? Oh, that broken wing, a man to fly. Why can't I get the words? But you know the song I'm talking about. I love that. Is that from the White Album? I love While My Guitar Gently Weeps. That's coming up too, I guess, because they know I love that song. While my guitar gently weeps. Oh, like a campfire. You know, and got camping. Also, like you can even live in the countryside, and then you can camp and you can grow your buckwheat, and you can sing by the fire with your guitar. Mend my broken wing and learn to fly. Blackbird, blackbird, blackbird. Spirits connecting. That's funny. And Blackbird, and the black dog came up. It wasn't black dog, he was almost black. I said he was not quite black. You know, it was dark gray. But that was coming up yesterday too. Somebody's out of toilet paper? Or, to use natural toilet paper. But I'm getting for kids, if kids need healing, you know, after a breakup or something like that, you know, to do a tent with them out in the yard or something like that. It'll be fun for them without toilet paper or whatever. There's something about toilet paper coming up, but it's cute. I keep getting something else that I'm not getting though. That's why I keep focusing on it. A measuring cup? Maybe it's saying 1 to 1, right? Because I'm getting the reflection of the buckwheat and the measuring cup, 1 to 1. There's some kind of reflection there about water. When it's clean and pure, it's just so much more powerful. I don't know, if you get something else from what I'm getting, let me know in the comments, okay? And then these cards came out. I don't know if I'm going to get something specific. 4 of them came out together. It's ships and galactic and babies reversed and transportation. They all have very different energies on their own, so it's kind of interesting that they came out together. The baby's reversed, so you might think that there's not a baby. But that's not the message I'm getting. I'm getting that it's not a girl, it's a boy. Someone who thinks it's a girl, it's going to be a boy. And I'm getting Thomas the Tank Engine. The time is up for the Divine Masculines. It's time to change tracks. You're over the bridge. It's time for you to go collect your pot of gold. And here's the, you know, like the Little Dipper and the Big Dipper, the North Star. They're saying, but the pot of gold, this is your pot of gold. That the skies are yours. And that, again, the ship's coming in, which came up yesterday, so I don't want to go into that one too much, because we did a lot on that card yesterday. So, you're guided to the waters and to the skies. No more inner child for you. It's now time to switch lanes and fly. And that's what it's telling me. You don't need to use a train anymore to cross the bridge, because now you can fly. You don't need your inner child anymore because you graduated. You can fly. That's a really nice message. Whew, I'm sorry, I'm starting to sweat. I don't know what's coming through. Masculine energy. Take another deep breath for the journey of love. Clear and align. Clear and align. everywhere. All right, again. Whoop. Oh, that wants to be seen. Devotion to the small. That came up for my son last night, so that could be for the masculines. Devotion to the small is 32. I'm not going to read that one, but it wanted to be seen. So the masculines might be devoting time to their children right now. So again, for March 4th, 2019, I've been watching The Best in High School of All Those Concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Jesus and Mary Magdalene, what is your advice for us? Alright, so a bunch of cards dropped off, but they gave me another one to read. And these are for numbers. Okay. The Christ flame is the bottom of the deck. It's 34. I'm sorry, it's 31. 31 is the Five of Wands, that expansion energy. It's the crucifixion, which was definitely brought up in the read today. So they were confirming that. And loving all that is. It's not about sacrifice. Okay. So 3 cards came up, and then the card they want me to read, and then 2 more cards came up, I think, for numbers, actually. So there's 7 cards that came out altogether. Okay, so that's the number that needs to come up. And these 4 cards, they're very different. We have Angel of Jupiter Awaken, which is number 6. It was just 010101. Now it's 101011111. Okay. Man of the Earth, Woman of the Sky is 48. That's the 8 of Cups going within. Then we have Dance of the Planets, number 56, which is the 2 of Swords, being in your knowing. And then Ethereal Touch, which is number 27. Alright, whoop, that went flying. Alright, like a feather on a wing and a prayer. That definitely wanted to fly to show me something. Alright, let's see what we got here. So Angel of Jupiter Awaken is like, it's very green and yellow. It's like a snail. It's like the oceans, but not, yeah, in the summer where there's like not a lot of color anymore because it's so bright and hot in the summertime. And it's just 01, 02, 01, and 2. In the summertime, 48. And 6 is coming up, so it could be something about June as well. And then the 48 is very, I'm getting an underground tunnel. For the feminines especially, to ground, connect to the center of the earth. When you connect to the earth, you're connecting to the masculine energy, okay? Because it's man of the earth, woman of the sky. And then we have this Dance of the Planets, where you both come together into the vortex. You're walking through the cyclone into the vortex together now. You see these 2 next to each other in the middle. So you have the summer hot ocean here, and on the other side is that ethereal touch of the feather, air, right? Land and sea. Or ocean, or sea and sky, which I said was the sky was the masculine talking to the depth of the sea of the feminine. And then here is, look how similar they are with the tunnels there, the underground tunnel. So it's showing you it's the vortex. And it's just saying as you enter the vortex for the feminine, so just ground, because you're grounding for the both of you, to come into the vortex together. And then we have the Ethereal Touch, which is 27, which is the Ace of Wands, is that new passion. Light as a to be light as a feather when it comes to that. Just be love and get ready for new passion in your knowing and going within. You know, just keep persisting. You're doing great. And then we, the card that they want us to read is The Bride Offers Herself, number 43. As we turn to 43. And the bride offers herself. Sorry, my friends came. So I just have to read you this last card. 43 is the bride offers herself. Did I show it to you? And then we're all set. Alright, 43 says, there is sacred offering taking place, an offering of the divine feminine. She's offering herself to the mystery unfolding. This may manifest in a physical way, in that a woman of great feminine wisdom is offering herself to you in friendship, love, spiritual companionship, or service in some way. This may manifest in a spiritual gift from the Divine Mother in the form of a life circumstance or situation, whether it's immediately recognized as a gift or not. To accept this offering as a bridegroom accepting his bride with love, reverence, and respect will bring good fortune. This oracle offers you a message. Accept what is being offered now. Whether through challenge or an easing of the way forward, there's a gift of grace from the Divine Feminine reaching for you now. Allow her in and be blessed. This oracle also heralds a time of importance in relationship. You've been revealing yourself and not being afraid of who and what you are, sharing yourself and willingness to connect. Your vulnerability and beauty is acknowledged and will attract the response you need at the perfect time and in the perfect way. Every bride shall have her bridegroom. And the poem reads, how careful we must be close, how fragile we must feel, how sad not to be when someone is real, to say approach with caution when we already know that inside there's a likeness and experience goes slow. Okay, so take your time on that. Or I have to go, my dates are here. Make sure you drink your water, be good to yourselves. Oh, I did have to show you the picture. Alright, so I wanted to, this is the full read. And also I wanted to show you this too, because this was like the, this was coming up like the energy of the betrayal. And this is the basic read there. Sorry about the light, let me push that away, maybe it's easier for you to see. Okay. See you later. Rise and be loved.